cloud security, strategies for consistent security and compliance in a hybrid multi-cloud world. And for this, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Ritesh Mishra, who is the Vice President and Global Head IT Infrastructure and Security at Dr. Reddy's Laboratories. Giving a brief introduction, Ritesh is the IT professional with around 20 plus years of indigenous experience in IT management and IT infrastructure, service delivery, cloud transformation strategies, cloud governance, information security, risk management, architect in large-scale technology-enabled business transformation and its delivery. With this, please welcome Mr. Ritesh with a huge round of applause.
Hey everyone, I think still all people are not here. Sometimes I'm feeling that whenever the partners are presenting the solution, things are looking so easy, correct? Very easily we can deploy it, seamless, no risk. So I'm just going to share my experience, how I have done my cloud transformation journey, the challenges that I faced, what kind of framework we have created, and just trying to basically incorporate my learning, how I have built my security strategy, especially in the cloud area. No, again, I'm not going to give any gyan. You all are experienced people. You've already done some other deployment in your area. So actually, I'm using a terminology cloud continuum. Cloud continuum is a program which is a cloud transformation program for my organization. Why I'm using this word? Because cloud is not just a basically infrastructure as a service. There are lots of seamless integration required. You are doing integration with your digital supply chain, basically experts, because industry cloud is one of the main things people are now these days adopting to get the maximum benefit and minimum time frame. So these are the 5 guiding principles that we have considered, and cloud first strategy now part of our digital transformation journey. Every organization is following a cloud first strategy. These 5 basically guiding principles are especially in the availability, agility, security, cost optimization. Today I am going to talk about cloud security because somewhere I am feeling, even at the beginning of my cloud assessment, I am having this feeling that cloud is completely secure. I need not to apply any brain. But now these days, if you see this, there are 79% companies who already opted cloud. There are some other research happening. Why? There is a reason behind it, because I've also done some assessment. So all cloud providers are providing all kind of security solutions. But who is responsible to configure those solutions for your organizations? That's very important here. And many cloud providers are not very transparent. They are solutions, but who is going to manage it? Is it going to be managed by customer? Is it going to be managed by the cloud providers? I think based on all that discussion, I came to one conclusion, let's create your own cyber security framework. The way we have done our information asset register, at the time of keeping our data center in on-premise mode, we followed the similar approach for cloud services. Divided the entire basically cloud instances in 3 areas: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, SaaS as a service, and define the security accordingly. Because there is no stringent rule. You cannot apply the same rule for infrastructure services. You cannot apply the same rule for SaaS services or PaaS services. And this is the high level basically framework. Again, I am saying, if I go into detail, I have to basically take at least 1 hour time for each and every basically segment. We have also defining the boundaries. What is my boundary in each and every cloud area? On-prem, yes, we all are clear. Infrastructure services, PaaS services, and SaaS services, and basis that we have created the complete RACI matrix. What kind of role cloud service providers, hyperscaler providers are going to play? What kind of role my managed cloud services are going to play? And what kind of tool that needs to be changed to manage all these instances centrally? We should also know one basic things. What is the customer's sole responsibility? If you see this page, these things are basically customer's responsibility. Data security, application security, operating system security, firewall level rule configuration, access management, identity management, and your encryption, decryption. Technologies are there. If you see your cloud instances, they are providing all the services on their marketing platform. But someone from the customer side use those functionality and configure it as per their policy or rules that they want to deploy for the respective products. There are some of the statistics, what are the basically key gaps which are commonly coming in the cloud instances. The maximum gaps that I personally identified using my multi-cloud scenarios, the misconfiguration. Your engineers, because they are not having that kind of skill set, they are doing misconfiguration and there is no alert mechanism. They always came to know during audit or some kind of basically penetration testing that you are going to perform for those instances. Second is lack of cloud security skills. Their cloud professionals are there in the market, but cloud security specific professionals, I have not found. I think somewhere some challenges are there. There are few people, few experts you are able to get it, but still I am saying, still that market is still not mature. Again, unauthorized access, identity access management delivery. If you do any cloud instances audit, you are able to find at least 10 to 20% gap in your identity access management setup. And baseline security standards. We all are talking about 𝗕𝗏, NIST, ISO framework. But in multi-cloud strategy, how do you know that all those instances are compliant or not? So these are the key gaps that I have discovered through external agencies to our internal assessment, and basis that we created our framework. I intensely attach this slide because we have a multi-cloud instances and every cloud providers are providing some other method of security controls. But using multi-cloud method, how you are going to centrally manage all these security controls, that is also a big challenge. I know these parameters needs to be applied, but from a central controls, how do I do that? And again, I'm saying, I mentioned the one very important thing is the digital supply chain controls. These is in your cloud instances, you are having dependency of third-party providers. Lots of ready-made solutions that you are integrating with your basically end user segment or some of the applications which are calling some external APIs. If third-party services or platform that is going to be compromised, how do you secure your own instances? I have mentioned here 5 key elements. Again, I'm saying because it's not new. People are using how to prevent, then detect, then fix, and then remediate. These four methods, every organization is following from since all security professionals are following. The important thing that I want to basically highlight here, this is shift left and secure right. Because for zero-day vulnerability, whatever the controls and policies that you have defined, that is not enough. So what we have done in my SOC controls or my cloud security posture management, whatever the alerts are coming, we are comparing with my left side control. Whatever the policies, processes that I have defined, is it adequate? Why still the errors are coming? How do you ensure that the right side will become zero? I know it's not possible, but using that logic, at least I'm able to enable the 90% protection for my entire cloud instances. Third thing, visibility. You should know what kind of asset you want to protect. You have to define the criticality of each and every asset, because the rule that you're going to apply, that is not common for all the instances. I'm going a little fast. If any question, you can ask me. There are some key best practices. Again, I'm saying you should understand your responsibility, your partner's responsibility, your hyperscaler responsibility. That's very important. Your IAM solution is very important from access management point of view. You have to define your enforcement security policy. There may be some method. You have to create some kind of workflow, and all your cloud instances needs to be integrated. And your enforcement policies should follow some kind of change management, some reviewer, some approver mechanism needs to be built. Compliance requirement, because we are talking about NIST, 𝗕𝗏, ISO framework, then there must be some kind of tool which can provide me a real-time scoring against those kind of compliance parameters. Again, red teaming and purple teaming and PT activity is very important, because you don't know what kind of loophole you have in your cloud instances. This slide is very important because I divided my entire cloud security framework in 4 areas. One is cloud workload protection, where all your cloud, because one common phenomenon is always happening, all my cloud instances not require any kind of network segmentation, but you're creating one security group. within the security group, traffic are moving. There is no protection. So you have to revisit your entire basically architecture, what kind of security group you have created, where the network segmentation is important. That we can basically cover in the cloud workload protection basically category. Third is application whitelisting. I'm not going all the points, but some of the specific points which I have identified one of the basically problem area and how we fix it. Application whitelisting. Application whitelisting, that we are doing it for my user assessment point of view. There are some public facing applications also there. There are some third-party APIs you are whitelisting for fetching the data or providing the data from your data center or cloud services. Where application whitelisting parameters is very important from a continuous monitoring point of view. Coming to the cloud security posture management, again I'm saying every organization, because you're using a multi-cloud scenario, how do you continuously monitor your cloud set protection? What is the current status as on today? What are the 5-6 parameters that we are talking about? The policy that you deployed at the beginning of the cloud setup, is it adequate? Is there any kind of gaps? Is anybody in your team who has done some changes? If some implications happening, when you are going to know that? So again I'm saying continuous monitoring and your policy posture management, both are basically tightly integrated to each other. The last one is cloud native application protection. All administrators or cloud leaders, they have to get a basically real-time visibility of all the cloud instances. And all 4 parameters, how you can integrate it. That's very important here. So how we have done it? We have basically integrated and worked with cloud security posture management providers, integrate one common interface, all 4 parameters, which are reflecting to us on a real-time basis. I know what is my current score from a company view. I know what kind of identity assessment risk I am carrying in GCP cloud, AWS cloud or Azure cloud. I am also having a complete visibility what kind of configuration changes my team has done without following the change management process. I know what kind of application related journey 𝗧𝗷_𝗪𝐶𝑖:s team is doing. Everything is coming on single console. And these 4 parameters we have integrated on one single pane of glass and now centrally managing it. So if any question on this particular, because this is a very important slide for everyone because it has helped me a lot. I know if you see my current score also, I have not reached to 100%. Even I have given my managed security services or managed cloud services to all top players. And I am also not make them accountable because they are using their own logic. It is also making my partner accountable. I can define the KPIs, define the SLAs, define the basically payment milestone, some of the MOS basis that the payments and delivers are going to be tracked under my centralized governance mechanism. So this is all about from my side. If any question you can ask.
Hi, this is Pranav from State Street. So looking at this slide, right, and when we talk about multi-cloud and many vendors provide these solutions, and if you look at some compliance standards like NIST, like it's a 200-page document defining what are the controls, and each vendor has their own interpretation and they implement controls based on that. So if I have to look at selecting a vendor, then what will be your proposed success criteria for choosing a vendor who is providing these solutions?
So 2 parts of it. One is that the framework that we are talking about and they've incorporated in the tool. So we have done a third-party assessment because every organization have one team, internal audit team, there's a risk team. They're also involving some third-party cyber security assessment, basically experts. So specifically those parameters, the policies, how those policies are configured in the application. If regulatory body will come, those policies which is configured in the system, that should be also get it validated for somebody. Because if you see this in these interfaces, there is a customizable options are there. If you see the NIST have 20 different guidelines, and out of 20, if you only mention 5 are basically ticked, and rest 15s are not ticked, you can check with your cloud security, basically cloud security assessment provider, and do those modifications. So it's a maker-checker kind of thing, because every partner is always claiming that whatever the basically governance or compliance dashboard they are publishing to you, it's 100% educate. So some internal mechanism is also built so that we can also make accountable to those people who are playing a role of checker within the system.
Thank you, Mr. Ritesh. Slides are very practical, pragmatic, I would say.
Thank you.
For this, but I was more interested on what kind of a zero trust or adaptive access that you are trying to, incorporate in your organization. I'm Nagesh from 𝗖𝗹𝗏.
Thank you for this question. Again, I'm saying from an endpoint point of view and zero trust. Zero trust is one of the very, very important thing for every organization. And zero trust and micro segmentation both have relationship. If your company has not enabled single sign-on, micro segmentation, zero trust is not possible to basically configure at 100% level. How we have enabled it? We enable conditional access on all my endpoints. We have defined basically the IP-based control, one level of protection. We also do application level segmentation. If one user who is having a SAP access, my machine IP, my machine's basically posture, and my application role, and along with that workload protection also so workload level segmentation also we have done. So again I'm saying I'm one of the customer who has implemented this zero trust technology in 2020. In 2020, how we have done that? We have discovered all my basically endpoint asset base and map those asset base with the user profile, do my application inventory assessment, every user what kind of role they are playing, and basis that my policies are configured. But again I'm saying it's not 100%. I don't know in the entire world any company who has implemented zero trust 100%, because I am still facing that challenge. Till the time your entire application stack is not configured under the micro segmentation or single sign-on kind of basically interface, 100% zero security is not possible. If you see my current scoring, we are reached to 60%. But 60% applications which are having micro segmentation, application level segmentation, workload segmentation, we have enabled it. But again, I'm saying conditional access, MFA, application level segmentation, and workload segmentation. These 4 things we have used for zero trust security.
Continuing to the question that my other colleague asked there, I want to understand, because each of the cloud provider have their own metrics, how they look out for the compliance, whether it is NIST or ISO, and each of them provide a different ratings and closures. As an organization, when we are running a multi-cloud, how do you consolidate and then tell the board or the management how or what is your current level? Because that's a bigger challenge when we say what the provider is saying versus what your vendor is saying, and how do you come or bridge that gap actually?
Very good question. I face the same difficulty in my organization also, because AWS, GCP, Azure, all 3 are claiming that from my basically benchmark point of view or my basically security compliance point of view, you are 100% compliant. But whenever you're doing the third-party audit, they are coming up with some different mindset. This have 20 gaps, this have 5 gaps, this have 7 gaps. Then what we have done, we have explored some third-party tool. The tool name is again I'm saying cloud security posture management, which have all these 4 functionality. It has given me a basically option where I can configure my compliance basically standards like NIST 20 standards. What is applicable for pharma industry? What is linked my FDA CFR 21 para 11? So basis that we have just customized it, because my regulatory body is not 𝗏. I am following that framework for my security. So basis that we created a maker-checker approach and make AWS, GCP, and Azure accountable also. Because you are claiming I am compliant this %, but my this dashboard is showing this %. So because this particular interface is already validated by my internal audit team. So basis that we are making them accountable, and we are we are following a maker-checker approach so that if anything is missed from their side, this interface is going to provide me the alert and fix it.
So you have a different platform or
Yes.
a tool for that?
You cannot manage it. If in the multi-cloud scenario, if you're going to manage 3 different interfaces, integrated with SIM tool also, you are not getting the full visibility. There are, again I'm saying, 30-40% chances of, I think something you are going to miss it. Even after this implementation also, I am not able to complete 100% basically compliance. Still I am lacking 10 to 20% some other areas.
The challenge that I feel is every time we go in for a vendor to do a cloud assessment or a threat assessment part of it, they have to prove that they are delivering something, right? So they try to find more and more gaps. And each time I have to go back to the cloud provider asking him, what is this? Then they come back to tell, it is a way of them telling the same thing, what we have fixed. So this is the kind of story that we get to hear at every cycle.
Trust me, this will solve your problem.
Okay.
This, again I'm saying, I face all this difficulty that you highlighted here. This has solved my problem because I have 2 partners. And both have some kind of KPIs and MOS along with me. And at least one partner will do an audit kind of role. Again I'm saying, my cloud security posture management tool that I'm using it is doing the audit on all the controls that I applied my AWS GCP and Azure level. So it's a maker-checker approach. This is giving me more confidence. If somewhere I missed something, it is going to fix it here.
Thank you.